Since we're only days away from arguably the biggest fight in Hajime no Ippo so far, I've got something good for you. A summary of all the chapter recaps from the moment Ricardo landed in Japan up until we see Sendo sitting in the locker room before the fight. If you need a refresher before Sendo versus Ricardo, this is perfect for you. Let's dive into the action. The rain doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It can mean new life as well. It can mean leaving something old behind. It can mean the arrival of the sun. As the rain stops over Japan, the clouds start to clear. The sky is so clear that we can even see an airplane arriving. Incidentally, it arrives in Osaka. Just when the rain stopped, the sun finally arrived in Japan. This is the beginning of the battle for the Featherweight World Championship. The sun came out just as Ricardo, the sun god, landed in Japan. But Ricardo is too humble to accept this. He says he's not capable of controlling the weather. What he's capable of, though, is what happens in the ring. That's a cold statement, bro. Ricardo can't stop aura farming, man. And look at who welcomes Ricardo and his gang. It's Imura, and she's rapping some Spanish too. Bill introduces her to Ricardo. He says, "Who?" Then Imura notices Narco and Ricardo's team. He's the one Sendo beat before. In total, there are 20 guys in Ricardo's camp. Bros moving with motion. All of them are wearing suits. They look like a group of CEOs. Bill asks Imura for good roadwork paths. They want to drop off their luggage and get to the gym ASAP. Look at Ricardo passing her without even batting an eye. Bro is mugging his own tour guide. Bill says Ricardo is always like this. He's almost too serious. The complete opposite of the gang member Rosario. Imura says the wall Sendo's climbing is almost as high as the heavens. And of course, Miyata, who is already on his way to Osaka, a man on a mission. This is storytelling, man. All the different parts are moving at the same time. And again, the phone at Ippo's residence rings. Good evening. Who is it this time? Finally, it's Kumi. She says that Mashiba has opened his eyes a few times and responded. But how's the situation? He's avoided death. You can see the tension leaving Ippo's body once he hears it. It's a massive burden off his chest. He wants to come visit immediately. But Mashiba is still in the ICU. Family only. Kumi says she'll call him whenever he's better, but she doesn't know when that will be. Man, it sounds like he's properly messed up. It really does sound worse than Sawamura's accident. Kumi asks him whether there's a day when he's not available. And now look at this. The first thing he says is this. He'll be gone for 2 days. He'll be in Osaka for Sendo's world title match. And as he says it, he realizes what it means. Kumi wanted confirmation and she got it. She says, "I understand." And before Ippo can say anything, she hangs up the phone on him. Look at this panel. Pure sorrow, pure isolation. Kumi sitting alone in the waiting area, surrounded by the empty benches and their shadows. She's completely broken. She knows that Ippo can't be separated from boxing, and Ippo knows it too. Then he suddenly moves his head and hits the wall. He rubbed the boxing right into her face, right when she was about to lose her only family member. And he feels bad for saying it. It wasn't on purpose, of course, but it's what he truly feels and thinks about all day. It's proof that the relationship either has to change dramatically or it won't work at all. And by relationship, I mean Kumi. But no time to speak about romance. The wind changes quickly in Osaka and brings us straight to the Osaka castle. Who's this? It's Ricardo. Is he doing a sightseeing tour? No, he's doing his road work. He states how beautiful the scenery is. These are the castles of Japan. And now take a look at this. Pay close attention. The route around the castle is about 3.5 kilometers, and he wants to do 3 lapses. Remember this for later. This is important. Ricardo thinks about Imura's advice. She said to not run for too long because it gets hot in the summer. He says he needs to thank her for the good advice. And just when he starts to think about the majestic scenery, something happens. He's in complete shock. He looks like he's seen a ghost. Who is this? This hairstyle looks extremely familiar. Look at this mighty panel. It's none other than Sendo. Both stand across from each other in front of the Osaka castle. The battle of the 2 emperors. Look at Sendo's face. His eyes look completely mad. He looks possessed. Ricardo waves him off and says, "You look like you want to go now. We better save it for the match, bro." But what is this, man? Sendo is literally walking towards Ricardo. Is this going to be a street fight? His eyes look so crazy, man. He's completely out of it, while Ricardo looks calm and collected like a lake. We see Sendo's face engulfed by shadows as he makes a fist. He grinds his teeth and his fists crack like crazy. He's like a wild animal. This is not normal. Ricardo says he has crazy bloodlust. He asks him if he can't handle it. Sendo says he doesn't understand shit, but he'll have to do his road work somewhere else. He doesn't know what he'll do if he sees Ricardo's face again. Man, this sounds so cold. He wants to kill the dude. And now pay close attention. He says he has a reason he's absolutely got to win. So next time he sees him, it's gonna be a life or death situation. He says this as they both continue their roadwork and move away from each other. Man, that's crazy. Only those two in the streets, no one else to stop this madness, and the castle behind them. And I know what you're thinking. Something is happening at an unknown boxing gym in Osaka. A big crowd has gathered. Michael Jackson is in town. Someone says, "Nah, man, it's the legendary champion." Wait, don't tell me. And we see Ricardo absolutely sniping the snot out of some rando. Mari says even being in the same room as him is enough to get you fired up. Damn, shawty, chill for a second. She literally wants to raise Ricardo up. The coach of the gym says there's someone who doesn't feel like that. He's not happy about this. Who's that silhouette, man? Another new boxer? No, it's Miyata Ichiro, aka Sashimi player, aka Lightning Pretty Boy. He's leaning against the pillar without even leaning against it. That's body control, bro. And Ricardo chops the break fist out of this fool with a single left hook. Bill, aka Biru, shouts at him to stop. "You don't need to get serious, cuh." Ricardo immediately trauma dumps on him. "I'm a tigre." In the morning by the castle. Bill can't believe this. Time to fire Mari as a chaperone, man. She deliberately led Ricardo on this route so he would run into Sendo. Ricardo says he was ready. And I don't know if it's just me, but his recollection of Sendo looks even creepier. He looks like a cyclops. Well, anyway, time for the next guy. Bill says please and thank you. "Onegaishimasu, little bro." Miyata thinks finally my turn. His dad wants to give him his headgear, but he keeps walking. And now he's in the ring with the featherweight king. Ricardo asks him, "No headgear?" Since they both speak English, they can understand each other. And look at Miyata, he looks sturdy, man. Full muscles and all. We haven't seen him in peak condition in a long time. This will be good. He says, "You're not wearing any." Damn. He's treating the champion like an equal. The whole crowd is speechless. They've never seen such audacity in Japan. This is Takamura level confidence. Miyata analyzes Ricardo's condition. He says he's his third sparring partner, plus Ricardo is on weight control, and also no headgear. He thinks Ricardo is looking down on him too much. That's what I mean when I say Miyata is a hothead, probably as much as Sendo. But Ricardo says, let's begin. Come at me. Everybody is excited and anxious. The highest peak of the sport is about to clash. I can feel the electricity. And the bell rings. Both start moving. Miyata looks confident. What will happen next? Bill makes a quick assessment. Ichiro Miyata. He's number 5 in the WBA and WBC. It wouldn't be strange for him to challenge us sometime soon. Did you hear this? Straight from the horse's mouth. There's a possibility that Miyata could challenge Ricardo for the belt. This changes a lot. And as I've said before, this means that Miyata will not go up in weight and fight Rosario. So please forget that theory forever. Ricardo throws a sharp left hand. The first punch of the spar. Miyata looks right at it. What will he do? And he moves around the whole ring in a crescent shape as if his feet are oiled up and driven by the engine of a Lamborghini. Look at his badass stance. Ricardo hasn't even turned around yet, by the way. But that changes quickly as he immediately faces Miyata and goes on the offensive. Miyata reacts accordingly. Look at this. Ricardo throws a barrage of jabs that look like piercing bullets. Miyata is so locked in that he dodges every single one of them. He's already further than Ippo has ever gotten in their first spar. And not only does he dodge with his upper body, he's literally using his feet to dodge. Look at Miyata flying through the ring with the Philly shell. This is my favorite stance, man. It looks so cool. every point is guarded. Against body shots, against left hooks, and even his left shoulder protects him against Ricardo's right hand. And Ricardo throws another lightning jab. But look at this. Miyata throws a crisp left hand in time and counters Ricardo's jab as if he saw it coming like an oracle. Of course, Ricardo won't get caught so easily and blocks it while looking straight at Miyata for his next move. Because he's not done. He clenches his fist and makes a step. He's ready. And suddenly we're looking at them from below as Miyata slices into Ricardo's guard like a ninja throwing 100 shuriken. The interesting thing here is that Ricardo's guard is super wide. He's standing in a rather squared stance, similar to how RBJ was fighting. He definitely studied their fights. And once he has seen enough, he parries one of the many shots and replies with a dizzying jab. And once again, Miyata steps into another angle in order to reposition, as he throws another jab. Ricardo blocks it once again. And yet again, Miyata steps into another angle. He never stays in the same spot for more than one punch. Ricardo multiplies his shots as well. This time he throws two left hands to catch Miyata. He knows Miyata will disappear immediately. That's why he throws more than a jab. And boom! Look at this. Ricardo finally caught up with Miyata. As Miyata threw a jab during his steady escape, Ricardo blocked and immediately replied with a jab himself. He's downloading Miyata's whole rhythm and movements before catching up to him in mere seconds. Miyata senses how close Ricardo has gotten and circles away after Ricardo barely scrapes his face. It's a small explosion in the center of the ring. Look at them both. Ricardo looks serious. You can see the scrapes on Miyata's face after the exchanges now. First point goes to Ricardo. The no-names in the gym witness greatness for the first time in their lives. Bill says there are still fighters of this caliber among the featherweights in Japan. Do you see this? He's putting Sendo, Miyata, and Ippo in the same caliber as Date, who challenged Ricardo twice. This is big for power scalers. Miyata and his dad are casually talking to each other through telepathy. His dad says you survived, but he landed one. Miyata says of course he did. Alright then, time to go up a gear. They completed each other's sentences in their minds. Bro, there is no duel like Miyata and his dad. They are literally a single mind and body. And look at this, bro. Miyata is floating in front of Ricardo like Muhammad Ali. And then, he's gone. Time for a long-distance relationship because he's far, far away. No, he's not. He's approaching like a vengeful spirit. He drifted around the ring and comes from an ungodly angle like an eagle catching its prey. He's even faster now. Look at this. He's right in front of Ricardo's face. Maybe it's not even him. It looks like his soul went ahead of his body. It's over for Ricardo. This is too fast even for him. Is this the anti-Ricardo strat? What? What is this? Ricardo's arm is extended already and literally touching Miyata's forehead. He saw it coming? Are you telling me he saw it coming? He looks at him like, I saw you, bitch. You're going to pay for Sendo's audacity in the park. Miyata looks like he saw an image of Ippo kissing Kumi on Ricardo's glove. This is a near-death experience. And he retreats immediately. He realizes the danger of the situation. As he flies through the ring, he says the following. As soon as I thought he was about to throw a punch, his fist was already in front of me. This is Ricardo's ghost jab, bro. He's not telegraphing even one tiny bit. Now pay close attention. Miyata lays out Ricardo's impeccable strategy. It's not even a strategy, it's just him being a monster. Strike first, strike at the same time, strike right after. He doesn't let his opponents do anything. It's basically my ideal style. Look at him eyeing Ricardo as Ricardo drills his fist into his face. We are right at the end of the round as both fighters go back to their corners. Miyata's dad asks him how the tallest peak in the world tastes like. He sticks out his tongue and says bitter. Man, I love how authentic and chill Miyata is with his dad. He says Ricardo's speed is faster than Miyata's. His punches are stronger than Sendo's. I don't know about that, bro. I think now we are freestyling a little bit for dramatic purposes. Or Ricardo has just gotten a new update and is much better than we thought. But the real reason Ricardo is so much better, do you get it? The source of the problem is high-speed acceleration combined with high-speed braking. He uses no excess power. He's in complete control. He's attacking and defending non-stop and does the right thing at the perfect time. No unnecessary movements at all. Miyata the hothead immediately says that Ricardo is looking down on him. I'm telling you, Miyata is exactly like Sendo and Takamura. His dad makes him focus. Listen to me, son. That man, He knows exactly what is needed, what's going on, and what he needs to do to trouble his opponent. His skills to see everything in a situation are first-rate. Look at this creepy panel of him opening his eye. In other words, his eyes are always observing, even now. He's watching and he's thinking. Bro, he's not even facing Miyata. He's looking over his shoulder with one eye. The aura farming has reached new levels. Mari chimes in and says, what should we do? We can end it early, is what Ricardo's corner wanted to tell them. Miyata and his dad look at her silently. Are you joking? They're about to jolt counter her ass. How dare you? By the way, the art style in this chapter is a little different yet again. Miyata's dad has a slightly softer face than before. Miyata says, not yet. I haven't tasted it thoroughly yet. Excuse me, what? Crossing the line, I understand it now. Once you cross it, you become a kinky freak. Time to go all out. Miyata wants to drag out everything Ricardo is holding back. And now to Sendo's grandma. We see him at the hospital. He says, Grandma, can you hear me? He tells her about his day in the gym. He ran and sent 2 guys flying and sparring. He says he's in good shape. He says him and the cat aren't used to her not being around. Hurry up and come home. He's watching over her next to her bed. And then we hear several explosions. What is this? None other than Miyata getting sniped like a piñata. Ricardo caught him before he was able to set the pace. He's always there before Miyata can make a move. He says it's not just a difference in skill. He can feel something is off. He's observing. His almighty eye is watching over the ring like a 360 drone. And just then Ricardo's pressure makes Miyata fall back. Miyata thinks to himself, what are you looking at? What are you thinking? And now, for the first time ever, we see the process behind Ricardo's mastermind. Look at this panel, man. There's a lot to unpack here. This is Ricardo's brain working at 700 miles per hour. Let's look at the stuff he's thinking. He has a habit of marking his rhythm with his fist when he's using his measuring jab. It'll be extremely troublesome if I let him get into top gear. His guard is low, but his reflexes are fast enough to prevent him from taking any fatal blows. Would he be even faster in 8-ounce gloves? He's able to throw combinations without bringing his hands back. I want to catch him on the temple. At just a few centimeters, no, millimeters. You're aiming too much, which makes your output go down. What does it mean to be strong? I certainly want to fight him in a real match. Bro, this is crazy. I can't believe this, man. These were just a few of his many thoughts within the split second. He's analyzing the whole situation, every single angle. And on top of that, he's even thinking about long-term stuff. He's probably calculating his electricity bill in the background too. Miyata knows what's up. He says in that instant he feels like Ricardo's mind went like 1,000,000 miles an hour. Is this the secret behind his strength? In an exchange that lasted a split second, he's stacking all his thoughts together and moves without thinking. And as Miyata is deep in thought, Ricardo slices through his thinking with a sharp jab. If he thinks, he stops moving. Not everybody is built like Ricardo, aka Octacore Martinez. He's able to create and perfectly execute a plan while also adapting to new information. It's like seeing the future. The reason why something feels off is his innate calculation ability. He's a human computer, Octacore Martinez. His face looks almost like in the old days here. Not the friendly round face we saw when he met Sendo. This is the slick and dark Ricardo. Back to Sendo. We'll let Octacore Martinez do his calculation in the background for now. Sendo's teacher visits him and his grandma at the hospital. She came to change the flowers, a good woman. Sendo will wife her once Ricardo snaps his head off. And now the burning issue. She asks him if he heard anything from the doctors. His grandma fainted because of an issue with her blood pressure. It's just... when she does wake up, the doctor said, she doesn't have long. He says this as his head basically falls to the ground. He says that his grandma raised him all by herself. She was always there for him, always by his side. If she hadn't been there, he might have become a real monster. He was a Sawamura in the making, bro. He's got to pay her back, show her she raised him right. Thanks to her, he became the strong man he is today. I'm bringing that belt to her bedside for sure. He looks wild here, man. Absolute madman. But this seals the deal for me. He will lose to Ricardo. I can't see him winning. Ippo finally arrives in Osaka. He apologizes for being late. He meets Mari in the hall and enters the press conference with her. And there he is. Ricardo is sitting right there. Ippo's heart literally starts racing as he says, "That's Ricardo-san." And he's blushing too. Bro has to calm down. Even Mari calls him out for thirsting over Sendo's opponent like that. Lock in for once, man. Then someone approaches and says, "Obviously I want Sendo to win." As Ippo sees this person, he looks surprised. Who's this? It's none other than lightning pretty boy Miyata. And now look at this. As if Ippo wasn't down bad enough, he starts tweaking and says, "Miyata-kun, you came too? I am also here." Bro, we can see that. What is happening with Ippo? It's like every time he sees Miyata, he gets a little more brain dead. Even Mari thinks he's doing too much. Have we ever seen him like this react to Kumi? He's in love, man. He starts yapping about Miyata's spa with Ricardo. Look at him chewing his ear off, bro. Read the room, man. Miyata says, "Can I say something?" "Yes." "Shut up." Look at Ippo's face. Even when he retired, he didn't look this sad. Mari is giggling because Ippo just got bitched by his dream man. Anyway, on to the actual press conference. The reporters asked Ricardo about his impression of the country. He says that he didn't come here for sightseeing, but he saw the Osaka castle. It's an unparalleled beauty. Bro, Morikawa is doing some peak marketing for Japanese tourism. Then they ask him about his impression of Sendo, and what kind of match should we expect. After thinking for a bit, he says, "Expect?" And then he knocks his fist on the table. Ippo and Miyata watch intently. Ippo remembers this pose. It's the same scenario as during the press conference for the Datte fight. Back then, Ricardo said it would be best not to expect anything. Ippo says he said it so bluntly. Absolutely cold statement. But what will it be this time? Sendo is in his own vibe right now. What might Ricardo say? Will he trigger him and cause a Brian Hawk situation? Ricardo takes a look at him. He asks him point blank, "Can I expect anything from you?" Holy. He is straight up asking him, "Are you worth something? Will you test me?" Sendo slowly opens his eyes, like a tiger awakening in the rays of the warm sun. The whole room is tense. Miyata and Ippo watch closely. And now look at this. What is this? I've never seen Sendo like this, bro. He's so ice cold that his eyes look like frozen crystals. This is worse than pure rage. This is a densely focused laser. He's smoldering like coal. Ricardo says, "I see." So it'll be that kind of match. He knows how ready Sendo is. This will be more than a fight, guys. It feels super off somehow. Something is happening. And then the face-off. They look into each other's souls. Ricardo with the typical cool hands in his pockets, and Sendo's brick fist is about to explode. Sendo says he'll go eat. He tells Ippo and Miyata to meet him at the gym in an hour and a half. Ippo says he should be resting and working on his focus. Sendo says it's fine. All he's gotta do is get into the ring. Besides, ain't nobody home anyway. Man, this is super sad. The feeling of being alone at home, especially before such a big fight. I feel extremely bad for Sendo. Miyata and Ippo reply with silence after hearing the pain in Sendo's voice. And now look at the fight poster. King versus Tiger. The fight for the WBA featherweight title. Absolute madness. Look at the teeth. Such a badass poster, man. In case you were wondering which year Hajime and Ippo is playing, and look at the bottom right. It says 200X, or early 2000s. The whole city is covered in them. That's how high profile the fight is. We see the entirety of Osaka going absolutely crazy about Sendo's fight. Everybody believes that he'll win. Ippo thinks that he can't imagine a hometown hero more beloved than him. Me neither. I've never seen someone so popular in Hajime and Ippo so far. Sendo literally has no haters. Ippo says Sendo is in his best condition, so we'll assume that there are no prior injuries nor cardio issues. This is the best version of Sendo versus the best version of Ricardo. As Ippo shadow boxes in Sendo's gym and Miyata lies on the ground like a hitchhiker, Sendo suddenly flies through the gym doors. Miyata says if you need something, hurry up. It's bad enough being alone with Ippo. And then Ippo thinks that it isn't bad for him. Man, there aren't even any allegations to beat. Ippo straight up wants us to know. Sendo says he has something for each of them. What could this be? First of all, he wants to know about Mashiba's condition. Then Ippo suddenly looks defeated a little bit. He looks down and says, "You want to talk about this right now?" Sendo insists. Then we get a clearer picture on Mashiba. He had a craniotomy. It was successful. If you don't know what a craniotomy is, they basically remove a part of your skull for a while so blood clots or swelling can be removed and treated. But he's still not talking. They don't know where else he might be injured. That's everything he knows. The energy in the whole room is as tense as the last day on Earth. The stakes feel so high right now. As Sendo and Ippo think about what Ippo just said, Miyata says something that'll solve a question about Mashiba many have been asking. A craniotomy. His career as a boxer is over. Damn. Can you believe it? Just like that. It was very likely before, but now it's confirmed too. Ippo looks sad, but somehow it seems like he already knew. Sendo says that's good. Ippo can't believe what he just said. He's glad he's still breathing. Ippo is about to jump him. Look at the shock in his eyes. Sendo continues. That guy got in the ring to die. Fucking awesome. I gotta do that too. Holy shit. I know exactly what you're thinking. Sendo will die. But pay attention to his wording. He basically said Mashiba got in the ring ready to die. That's what Sendo needs to do too. Don't get baited by this. But let's continue. Now it's Miyata's turn. He asks him if Ricardo did all this to his face. He says he was Ricardo's partner for 3 days, and to make it look better, he says Ippo got knocked out in a single spar. Bro, he didn't have to do him like that. And now Sendo wants to know, what do you think? And he straight up asks him, so can I win? Ippo looks to Miyata as if expecting the same attitude he always gives him. And now he says it. Will it really be as negative as Ippo expects it to be? Frankly speaking, as of right now, the only one in the world who possibly could beat him is you. This changes everything. He's not even including himself. He says Sendo is the only one in the world who could beat him right now. We have to do some deduction here. Miyata's face doesn't look too bad. That means he didn't eat too many bad punches. But the fact that he couldn't get anywhere with Ricardo means that his style simply didn't work. I'm betting it was his thinking versus Ricardo's overthinking, and Sendo being the one who could beat him means that this hinges on Sendo's instinctive and wild style that cancels out Ricardo's ADHD. Get ready, because as I said, everything will change. Buckle up and let's jump into the fight like tigers. As Sendo pushes and pulls, Ippo isn't even moving a single inch. Look at his foot clawing down on the canvas like the hooves of a bull. And now look at the symbolic masterpiece. His foothold is so strong that it literally feels like roots sprouting out of his feet. Look at this tree of life growing out of Ippo's big mother foot. Didn't I say in the last video that his center of gravity is below the ground? Bro is literally a tree. Sendo even recognizes that it feels like roots sprouting out of Ippo's feet. He can't do anything, and him being bigger than Ippo makes this even more impressive. Miyata wants to see more. He's looking like a 70s serial killer behind those glasses. Sendo is ready for a sumo match, and now he's getting Ippo. He's about to lift him up. But wait, what is happening? Nothing happens. Sendo mentions that Ippo is smaller than him, so how does he do it? Look at this panel. Can you believe how crazy this looks? This is different compared to the boulder we saw in the Guevara fight. The boulder was rough and not refined. This boulder is sharpened and shaped into something much more valuable. It has experience. And now a classic Ippo retirement glaze. Sendo says it's just like when he was active. His foundations have gotten even stronger since then. Ippo tells Miyata to step in. He said 1 round. Surely it's been 3 minutes, right? Miyata looks at the clock. What is he seeing? He wasn't even paying attention. Bro was distracted by peak fiction. Ippo is so back that he calls Miyata an idiot. What is this? Ippo character growth in 2025? But then something happens. Sendo's phone has been going off non-stop. He looks worried and leaves the gym. As he runs out, he says, "Come watch tomorrow. I'm gonna lay out the legends." Powerful words, but what is happening? Ippo says Sendo didn't land anything, but his arms are still asleep from blocking his punches. Miyata says he got to see something good. What does he mean? Then he says just now Sendo was doing his anti-Ricardo strategy. What did he just say? This was his anti-Ricardo strategy? Miyata continues. He says you saw how Datte and Wally attempted, right? Datte took Ricardo on with his intelligence and feeling, and Wally used his wildness and instincts to press him from all directions. In the end, Ricardo no-diffed them anyway, but there were still times when he looked a little worried. Miyata saw those gaps too. He says a champion this strong doesn't even show his true nature until enough people have challenged him in different ways. And now what we discussed in many videos before. Someone peels off a layer and then the next challenger peels off another. All you can do is pick apart what you think are his weaknesses at the time. It's like they're attempting to beat him as a gang. Then we see a depiction that should look familiar to all of you. Miyata says with each attempt you pass on new information. This is the baton pass. Datte passed it to Ippo, but it was too early. Sendo and Wally had to come before him. He says he wants Sendo to receive the baton properly. But is Sendo really the final runner to receive the baton? And then Miyata says some powerful words. Etch this into your minds. Undefeated doesn't mean invincible. Even though he never lost, it doesn't make him any scarier. And then look at this. Ippo keeps watching Miyata. And then he says his profile looks so cool. I'm speechless. It's not even his admiration for him as a boxer anymore. He straight up thinks Miyata is sexy. And now let's get serious again. Because Sendo runs to the hospital with urgency. He says, "Grandma, you can't. I gotta bring you the belt first. Just wait a little longer." He wants her to witness his win against the world champion. But his grandma has other plans. She says she doesn't have long. She wants to see. Sendo assumes she means the belt, but she means something else entirely. He basically begs her to spit it out. Whatever it is, he'll do it. And then she says it. While she's still alive, she wants to see her great-grandchild's face. Sendo slowly stands up and leans back a bit. And this madman really tries to karate chop his dying grandma in her hospital bed. He says he doesn't even have a girlfriend. But she points out that he has his old teacher from school. When he hears this, he tries to chop her again. But his teacher/girlfriend stops him. They're made for each other. But this is not a romance channel. Let's get back to the heated parts. All that aside, for now it's the belts. Sendo has a dancing partner already, and it's none other than Ricardo Octacor Martinez. A date with the legend in the ring. This chapter really digs into the male romance, doesn't it? Peak Hajime no Ippo. He continues. Tomorrow the man you raised is gonna come back world champion. When he sees that his grandmother fell asleep, he looks surprised. His teacher says she seems okay for now. Your grandmother will definitely wait for you to come back. And then his fire explodes into flames of ambition and sheer will. The man she raised is gonna come back world champion. It's the night before the fight and Sendo wants to stay by his grandma's side. But his girlfriend/teacher forces him to go home and rest. And she's asking a good question. Is this opponent really someone you can afford to not give your all? She's so based that even Sendo is shocked. He can't believe how much of a keeper this woman is. This is also a stark contrast to how much Kumi hates boxing and can't really offer any motivational support in that regard. See it like this. Sendo's girl gives you a power buff before the fight, and Kumi is a healer that builds you up after you've broken every bone in your body. She looks at Sendo's bag as he walks down the hallway of the hospital. He's slowly closing his hands, but not to make a fist. To feel the hands of his grandma once more. To feel family once more. Then, for the first time since she broke down, we see him in despair. The tragedy of mortality washes over his face, and he leaves the hospital as he most likely tries to hold back the tears of a tiger. At the same time, we see Ricardo's team. Ricardo has gained 3 kilograms since the weigh-in, which means he's basically a natural featherweight. He's probably only cutting water. His coach says Ricardo will spend the night before the fight alone to do some reflection. Exactly what Octacor Martinez would do before a fight. Suddenly Nargo says, I wonder. The whole Cinco de Mayo team looks tense. He continues. Sendo is a dangerous boxer. As far as I know, he has the most destructive power at featherweight. The team doesn't want to accept this. You're saying more than Ricardo? Yes, no hesitation. This makes them speechless. Bill even agrees with him. He says Nargo fought them both. He's right about this. So you're saying he can't even take one punch? And of course they start talking about the infamous down Sendo scored on Ricardo. They say that was just an accident. And now, after literal years, we finally get an answer for this accident. How did Sendo knock Ricardo down? Bill says, not an accident, an incident. That down was exactly why Ricardo picked Sendo. Imagine how crazy this is. They sparred only because Sendo forced himself onto Ricardo, so his will made this fight possible. And now pay close attention. This will shock you. Bill says back then Ricardo told him he was sure he dodged. The other guys say they probably tangled feet or something. And then Bill clears it up. Except that after the fact he found out that Sendo broke his pinky bone. What? His pinky bone? How? It was an open-handed punch. And his glove was bigger with a thicker filling. That's how he must have grazed Ricardo's cheek by just a few millimeters. Can you believe this? I don't know what to say, man. What is Sendo, man? Bill says in the entire world there's no boxer as absurd as him. That's why Ricardo is so interested in him. Bro, Sendo is literally a monster. He knocked Ricardo down with his pinky and the finger pulverized on impact. What is this, My Hero Academia? They say Sendo has the most power in the world. In the featherweight division, of course. And he's also the hardest one to figure out. You don't know what he's thinking. Nargo says that this wildness means he'll do whatever to take the opponent down. That's what I meant in my last video when I said Ippo doesn't have the will to win. You have to be willing to do anything. Rosario had this too, but a little too much. Mashiba had it, but he lost it in the process. Anyway, the fight with Wally was just data collection for Ricardo. He was preparing for the wildness, and now his simulations are complete. He's running through the match from beginning to end, all in his mind. Octacor Martinez has finished calculating all possible scenarios. We see him on his throne, befitting for a king. He sits in his hotel room and looks at Osaka through a panorama window. And then he says, such a thing exists. What does he mean? He says, I can't see anything. Once the opening bell rings, I can't imagine what he will do at all. This is a first for me. What did he just say?
In all of his fights against Wally, Gonzalez, Date, he always knew what would happen, but against Sendo he has no idea. Sendo is using feints even before the fight started, bro. And didn't I say we would be lured into the idea that Sendo could win? This is it. Although I think Ricardo will win, it won't be clear until it happens. Ricardo turns his hand over and looks at it. He's looking at his weapon for tomorrow. How am I gonna beat Sendo? But he's not nervous. He's amused. This man, he's really exciting. He's smirking on his throne like a playful king. Then we see Sendo's place. He's chilling with his cat on the floor. He says, "Hey Tora, Grandma's hand is really small, huh?" He says he can fit her whole hand into his fist. That's how small it was. And that hand was pulling him along. And now he's looking at his weapon too, with that hand. His hand looks like a tiger paw. That hand that his grandma pulled along. Tomorrow he's using it to take the world. He has to. He has no other choice. It's easy. And as he cuddles with the cat, he throws a powerful punch. The most powerful punch ever. The punch that his grandma nurtured for years. Heavy fists. He says, "I just gotta hit him." The essence of boxing. We see them both deep in thought. This feels so intense, and it honestly feels like they're equals, man. I'm already being manipulated by the storytelling genjutsu. We see the Osaka castle where they both met once again, and then the arena. It's the hottest day of the year, quite literally. The flames of the two monsters are about to burn the whole arena to ashes. Fists are about to collide like steel hammers. The tiger takes on the sun. The commentator shouts, "No matter how you slice it, tonight you're gonna sweat." The arena is brimming and rumbling with energy. A forest fire has nothing on this storm of flames. We are in for a battle of the highest magnitude. At the vending machine, Ippo walks past Takamura and Date as they were getting drinks. They look like proper colleagues during break. Date says he was called in as a commentator because he is the only Japanese who had crossed fists with Ricardo. As Takamura takes a sip, he says, "And some grandpa who got his ass handed to him wasn't enough. So they also called the strongest man in the universe. I'm here to give everyone commentary from the mouth of the gods." Bro isn't even saying the strongest on the planet. He's stronger than even aliens who can time travel. Date says, "The fuck you say?" And they go at it. Why does Takamura have the audacity to say it as well? He took shots first, bro. Ippo tries to stop them, and they square off like gorillas. They even have their feet positioned for a fight. Their lead legs are almost crossing over each other. It looks like a fight in the pocket is about to erupt. Miyata appears from the crowd and says, "Stop it." They leave together to buy drinks, and Date says those two are friends now? To me, it looks like they will never fight in the pro ring, to be honest. Get ready for Miyata to move up in weight soon. The boxing baddie Mari joins Ippo and Miyata and says she's lucky to be sitting next to them. Then she says Ippo bought too many drinks. The fight might be over in a flash. Watch Ippo go take a piss during the final round. Ippo says he can't even imagine the fight ending quickly. Is this foreshadowing that the fight will last until the end of 2025? And finally, he's asking about the anti-Ricardo strategy Miyata was talking about. He immediately reveals it. When Ippo and Sendo were sparring, Sendo pulled his punches mid-swing. Ippo calls it a feint, but Miyata says it wasn't a feint. It was just a whim. Now what does he mean? When Sendo threw out his right hand and felt it wouldn't land, he just switched it up, and that let his left hand land. But you never know what to do because the accuracy of those whims is super high. It's his wild instincts. Then Miyata says when he sparred Sendo for the world title match preparation, he fought strategically and used his head, which is why it was so easy to beat him. Remember what I said in my last video? Sendo just isn't someone who's using his head. It's not his style. He has to fight on pure instincts. Mari says conventionally speaking, Miyata has the advantage. Miyata adds that Ricardo won't even be a comparison. He will see through any strategy or plan. But maybe it was something in Sendo's private life, or maybe because Ippo showed up. He's returning back to his original wildness. Mari makes a fair point. She says that Ricardo already has an anti-wild strategy, and in my last video I talked about the Wally fight, which was a preparation for Sendo. Miyata says they're both wild, but they're different types. That's one of the things that undermines Ricardo's insane perception. Ippo says, "I get it, Wally is a primate." First of all, calm down, Ippo. And Sendo is a carnivore. This panel goes insanely hard. Sendo looks like he's ready to bite Ricardo's head off and then die himself.
But I'ma be real with y'all here. This chapter confirms that Sendo is completely and utterly cooked. What type of strategy is that? He's returning to his wildness? What do you mean return? He never fought without the wildness anyway. And I'm not accepting that whim stuff as the anti-Ricardo strategy. I still think that he will use forearm shots to make Ricardo's arms numb. That wild style won't fly with Ricardo at all. I hope we at least see Ricardo on his ass once before Sendo's bones get pulverized like protein powder. Sendo is suffering, it's clear. The impending death of his grandma has given him a load of emotions that's too much to handle. He wants to put all of his power away in a single big bang. That's why he'll cause more damage, but also why the counter damage will be much bigger. Next week will be bone-numbing wildness. Get ready for war.